Good evening and welcome into Greeny Sports Cards Live. We have a monster show for you. Founder of Sports Cards Investor and owner of Cards HQ, Geoff Wilson, will be here. Coach Co Collectibles will be here. Our resident hobby insider, Joe Wismierski from Phoenix Sports Cards, will be here. Greeny will be here. I will be here, Jeremy Levine. And it all comes to you on the other side of Greeny Sports Cards Live.
You make this rather snappy, won't you? I have some very heavy thinking to do before 10 o'clock.
Welcome into Greeny Sports Cards Live, the world's first multi-stream broadcast for the hobby industry. This is episode 109, if you can believe this. This is going on well over 2 years that Greeny and I come to you week over week and bring you hobby influencers and coaches and athletes and entertainers and producers and fans of the hobby for discourse, conversation, and storytelling. And tonight is certainly no exception. We have a monster show for you. We are going to welcome Geoff Wilson from Sports Card Investor. He is the founder. He is also the owner, founder, operator of Cards HQ, one of the most influential voices in the hobby today. So we're really excited to catch up with Geoff and what he has to say about what's going on in Atlanta, particularly with one of the shows coming up as we go around the nation as well in Card Show Live with Greeny, who will join us here shortly. We're going to go to Kentucky. We're going to head over to Indiana. We're going to go to Pennsylvania near Pittsburgh, and of course down to Atlanta, as well as here locally around Cleveland, Ohio, and bring you the hottest card shows of the week and the weekend. And we will have our hobby news with our resident hobby insider, Joe Wismierski. We will catch up a little bit later in the show, about 40 after, with Brendan from Coach Co Collectibles. So another big influencer that we'll get to talk to about his journey and what's going on in the hobby space. We've got a lot to get to this evening and very excited to do that. And we're going to give it to you right off the bat with the rundown and hobby hits. This week in the hobby, week of March 17th, here are the highlights for you. Music trading cards are exploding. Athlon reports Leaf, Metal, Pop Century, and Upper Deck's Grateful Dead 60 Years are driving a massive surge in music category collecting, with Taylor Swift and Kiss leading a 2026 boom. Topps Heritage 2026 is fueling a wave of new autograph set builders. Yahoo Sports highlights collectors jumping into the 1977 style Real One autos with red ink parallels and 75th anniversary signatures. The PSA price hikes and grading wars are reshaping vintage strategy. Athlon reports PSA's 2026 fee increases and the unified ownership of PSA, SGC, and Beckett are pushing collectors to rethink where they grade, especially for vintage icons. John Cena is getting his own commemorative top collection, and it's a hit. Athlon's release calendar spotlights 2025 Topps John Cena commemorative collection dropping this month with rare NWO and Doctor of Thugonomics inserts. Can't wait for that one. Go, G- Go Go GTS claims this week's release slate is one of the wildest of 2026. You've got new drops including Panini Silhouette NFL, Contenders EuroLeague Basketball, Upper Deck World of Sports Volume 2, and Pulse Drift Football Heat Seeker Edition. The 2026 Topps Chrome Black Baseball is turning heads with premium autos. Sport Card Forum reports strong early reception for the chromium finish MLB set, packed with on-card signatures and low parallel numbers. Bowman U now March Madness is here, and collectors are chasing NCAA stars. The new 2026 Bowman U now release features top men's and women's tournament players, hitting right as March Madness peaks. We're heading into the Sweet 16 round now. A new T206 Honus Wagner surfaces, and it could hit $6 million on the market. Collect reports a newly discovered Wagner with elite pedigree is heading to auction, with experts saying a $6 million sale is not out of the question. And finally, your reminder that admission and autograph tickets are on sale now for the Strongsville Sports Collectors Convention, co-located with the Great Lakes Collectors Convention, presented by Greeny Sports Cards, April 10th through 12th. Head over to greenysportscards.com and check out all the information. There's over 20 guests, including a number of Hall of Famers and icons who will be at that show, April 10th through 12th. And you've got more hobby news coming up with our resident hobby insider, Joe Wismierski of Phoenix Sports Cards. So with that, we will go ahead and welcome in the man himself, Steve Greenberg, a.k.a. Greeny, the namesake of this show and all things Greeny Sports Cards. Good evening, Greeny.
Hi, Jeremy. Thanks for having me again on this lovely Tuesday night in Cleveland, Ohio, where yesterday was snowing and today it's a little warm out.
Of course, they say if you don't like the weather in Cleveland, wait 20 minutes.
Yeah. I wanted to lead with a little quick story, Jeremy. I was set up in Chicago a week and a half ago now, and had a young lady at my table looking at some cards, and I could see that she was looking at. I had a Hannah Hidalgo NIL card and KK Bransford and Destiny Leo, and she was wearing a UW Green Bay shirt, and I said, "Do you go to school there?" Which, as we know, UW Green Bay is in the Horizon League where Cleveland State plays and some of the other schools that we know. And she said she plays soccer there. I then was saying, I see you looking at some of the NIL cards, and we talked a little bit. I ended up sending her a contract, and Lainey Stark is now the newest Greeny Sports Cards NIL trading card available for sale. And I can tell you, I mean, she's been posting it everywhere. Sold a bunch of cards already overnight, and we're gonna print these out, get them to her to sign, and each student athlete has a chance to make money just by sharing their own card and working together with us. So just a chance encounter. She was at the card show in Chicago in Rosemont, and she is a card collector, obviously, and it worked out pretty well. And we're happy to have Lainey. And if you actually read her bio, she had an impressive first 2 years in Green Bay for the Phoenix, and even scoring 2 goals in a Horizon League semifinal game this year. So pretty happy to welcome to the NIL part of Greeny Sports Cards.
That's well over 100 student athletes now in the portfolio of Greeny Sports Cards from schools across the country. And as you said, Greeny, the ones who embrace it and promote it and get out there, they're not getting the big NIL dollars of the quarterbacks and the wide receivers or the point guard at the big schools, but it's a chance for them to promote themselves and learn a little bit about PR skills. And it's very cool stuff. So welcome, Lainey. And of course, Greeny, Sports Illustrated called you pioneer for this model. So that's appreciated. What's up, Michael? You can check in just like Michael did on any of the platforms that you're watching. If you're catching us on any of the socials, make sure you comment. If you have questions for our guests, drop those in. If you have retorts, responses, thoughts about the hobby world, make sure you join those. Like and subscribe to our channels and follow us. We go live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. So, Greeny, I know many of our viewers know this. We've talked about this, but as this audience grows, some of them don't know. My day job is with Odyssey, the #1 sports audio platform in the country, which is pretty cool. We get to do some pretty amazing stuff here in Cleveland. We are the radio home of the Cleveland Browns. and not that we'll get on that subject too much, but Sports Talk is undefeated in Cleveland, and with that I get to do some pretty cool stuff in and out around the hobby, in and around sports. And today was it is no exception. This was a little surprise I had at work today. There you have it. It's not every day you get a visit from the mascots from the Cleveland Guardians. And of course, it is now hot dog season. So proudly, baseball is on the horizon. And with that, Greeny, lots to look forward to in the hobby world and sports world as today's stars continue their rise.
Yeah, opening day Thursday. The Guardians will be out in Seattle, and a late start for us, but that signals spring, and baseball is here. We had talked about the Bowman draft picks and all the prospects that are coming, and Cleveland's no exception, and we have our share of prospects, and Travis Bazzana, the number one pick of the draft in 2024, will hopefully make his debut at some point this year. And Chase DeLauder has made the team, and so many prospects around the major leagues will get an opportunity this year, much like Nick Kurtz last year, who ended up winning Rookie of the Year, a little more than a year after being drafted. So pretty cool stuff, and always fun to watch the beginning of baseball.
Yeah, for sure. And opening day is a holiday around these parts here in Cleveland, as it is much across the country. Did hear from Curtis Danberg, the vice president of communications today, who came with the team, the mascots and the support team, to talk about the season. And we did hear he believes Travis Bazzana will be in the major leagues this year. He did not give a definitive date, but his gut feeling after seeing him is that he'll be up. He was impressed with Chase DeLauder this spring, and he thinks Gavin Williams is due for a breakout year after the spring he had. So spring is eternal. We're looking forward to the baseball season. So let us know what teams you're rooting for, which players you're rooting for, especially as it relates to the hobby world. If you've got an investment in cards or just a rooting investment as a fan, let us know. And of course, that brings us to our question of the evening. We encourage you to chime in on the socials. And that question, in honor of Jeff Wilson's appearance tonight, is what has been your best return on a sports card investment? And I'm not necessarily looking for a financial investment, but if you've got something that led to an experience or a trade or just pure joy because you went out and bought that card, let us know and drop that in the comment section there. Greeny, is there something that comes to mind for you? This is your business, buying and selling cards, but maybe there's something, maybe there's an Olympic torch type item that you've invested in that brings you joy.
Yeah, there is an Olympic torch hanging on our wall, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, I've had the opportunity to buy and sell a lot of different cards over the years. I've found cards in dollar boxes that I've turned into $5,000. I have some pretty cool memorabilia hanging on the wall, stuff signed by Tiger Woods, a football that was used in Tom Brady's first NFL game, the Hall of Fame game in 2000, and an all-star basketball signed by Kobe and LeBron, amongst other players, and in LeBron's first all-star game in 2004. So a lot of cool stuff I've been able to pick up along the way. You can see behind me, I have a jersey from Kent State that was actually worn during a tournament game. Not the Elite Eight run, but still a tournament game nonetheless in the NCAA tournament. And that's tough for MAC schools to make. Usually it's a one bid league. This year we got two in, with Miami being undefeated. But yeah, so those are some of the cool things that I've collected along the way.
Very cool. What else is on the docket this week? We're coming off. You had a show this past weekend, a small show, of course, one of 31 that's going to take place this year, produced by Greeny Sports Cards, all the way from those small intimate shows to the Great Lakes Collectors Convention, which we'd mentioned that's coming up. This is a big one. The co-location of Great Lakes Collectors Convention and Strongsville in one place. Two great shows, one destination. Greeny, talk about the show this past weekend. Was a little bit more intimate.
It was a nice little show at the Glen Eagles Golf Course, which is just a perfect location. Sans the snow here in Cleveland, but when it's nice weather, it's a beautiful location to have a show. It's got a great restaurant, and it's a great little local community show. It's not the hustle and bustle, and we don't claim it to be the biggest, fastest show. It's small, 20 tables, but man, it is a community show, and a lot of neighborhood families bring their kids, and parents alike that come and collect cards. So this is one of the shows that we just love doing because it's a small community show.
Very good. We love shows. We love producing those shows. We love seeing shows across the country. As we said, big show tonight coming up. Geoff Wilson, Coach Co, and a little bit of hobby news. But now it's time, speaking of those shows, for Card Show Live.
Welcome on into this edition of Card Show Live, where we're going to take you around the country and go over some of the shows that we have found that could be some of the most interesting ones. Starting right here in Northeast Ohio, our Broadview Heights show is this Saturday, March the 28th. 100 tables, and we bill this one as 75% sports, 25% Pokemon. And this show has been nothing short of pretty amazing the last couple years. It has grown exponentially, and to the point where we had to actually run traffic in the parking lot in February. So let's see what happens this Saturday, March 28th, the Broadview Heights show at the Woodside Event Center. From there, we're going to head down to Lexington, Kentucky. Brian Arms of Elizabethtown Sports puts this show on. He's been a friend of our shows before. We see him other places. And 100 tables, Lexington, Kentucky card show put on by Elizabethtown Sports Cards. You can find them on Facebook. Elizabethtown Sports Cards, and check out the Lexington, Kentucky show at the Quality Inn. From there, here's a new show that we have heard about, the Bronco Bash. This is in Daleville High School in Indiana, and they're billing this, for several hundred tables coming up. This one here is happening in May 30th, but before that, this weekend they have a 2-day show, the 27th and 28th. The Bronco Bash in Daleville High School in Indiana, 300 tables. That would be Tyler Haney that's putting on that show. There's also a show in Monroeville, Pennsylvania, at the Monroeville Convention Center. PittsburghCardShows.com runs this show. 500 tables they're billing this. Free admission, free parking. So the Monroeville Convention Center, and they've had shows here for years in this location, but this is the first for PittsburghCardShow.com. You guys probably know them from the mall shows that they put on around the area, but they are into the Monroeville Convention Center this weekend, 27th, 28th, 29th. Free admission, free parking. So go check out 500 tables if you're in the Monroeville, Pennsylvania area. And then one of our friends, Dan Bliss, who has been putting shows on the West Coast for years and just building an absolute monster of shows, from Tacoma to Phoenix to Portland, and now venturing to the East Coast, and where he'll be in Atlanta this weekend at the Cobb Center Convention Center, the 28th and 29th, 400 tables. And there'll also be a trade night at Cards HQ, and we're going to talk to Geoff about that. But Dan Bliss, who's been a friend of our show, who's also a Clevelander, is now venturing to Atlanta in the Front Row Card Show. Tremendous opportunity in Atlanta to check out this show. And with that, this has been Card Show Live. So go check out the shows this week.
Our first guest is one of the most influential figures in the modern sports card hobby. Geoff Wilson founded Sports Card Investor, one of the largest content networks and data platforms in the industry. Geoff opened Cards HQ in Atlanta, one of the largest card shops in the world, which houses the Sports Card Investor studio featuring the Geoff Wilson Show, which explores the collision of cards and entrepreneurship. Geoff is the author of Sports Card Collecting and Investing for Dummies. That's me. And even has appeared as a Topps hobby influencer short print card. Geoff joins us to talk about his journey and the big trade night happening at Cards HQ this weekend, coinciding with the Front Row Card Show in Atlanta. It is our distinct pleasure to welcome to the show Geoff Wilson.
Hey guys, how you doing? Good to see you.
Good. Hey, Geoff, thanks for joining us. So Atlanta has been no secret to the card world. The National was there in 1992. It was there in 1999. And there was kind of a little bit of a break, just like everybody does in collecting. And COVID happened. And then all of a sudden, Culture Collision happened. You opened Cards HQ. So give us a little peek into Atlanta and why it's such a hotbed for cards again.
Atlanta's been really good. And I know I wasn't collecting in the years that Atlanta had the National. And I heard that, I guess the 1999 National didn't go so good. And, National's never been back since, which to me is very sad because I can only speak to what the card scene's been like in Atlanta over the course of the last 7 years since I've been collecting again. And it has been really good. There's a lot of hunger, a lot of enthusiasm. We do our trade nights at Cards HQ. We do a TCG trade night the first Saturday of every month and a sports trade night the second Saturday of every month. And what I can tell you is that our trade nights are packed. There's tons of people in the local community that come out to our trade nights. We have hundreds of people every time we do one. And so, yeah, I think there's a thirst for shows and card related stuff in Atlanta. So I'm excited that Front Row's coming through this weekend.
We do know that Atlanta was on the ballot for a National, and I think eventually it is going to get there again.
It should. The folks should vote for it. They need to vote for it. I hope that Atlanta gets its chance. I think it's a great setup for the National. It would be downtown in the Georgia World Congress Center, which is connected to the College Football Hall of Fame and is connected to the stadiums downtown. And there's been a ton of development. Our football stadium is obviously very new. The Mercedes-Benz Stadium, one of the best in the world. Our basketball stadium, they did a complete renovation of, I suppose that's 5 or 6 years ago. It's one of the best basketball stadiums in the world. The CNN Center, they're just about to complete a full renovation of it. That facility is awesome. The College Football Hall of Fame is great. The Georgia Aquarium is the largest aquarium in the Northern Hemisphere, and it's connected into all of this. There's tons of hotels. There's tons of restaurants. It's actually a great environment, and I think that it would be a great place to host the National. So I'm hopeful that gets done in the future.
There's certainly a lot of nuance that goes into that, Geoff. I've been very fortunate to be a part of the National since 2000. During my 15-year run at the IX Center, was part of the boots on the ground, producing it through 5 cycles here, and have an interesting insight on kind of how those pieces fit together with the board and the producers and the vendors. So I hope it does get back down there. It's a tremendous city. You've had many roles within the hobby. You've worn a lot of hats. You recently, within the last couple of years, opened Cards HQ down there. What has been the biggest surprise for you opening a brick and mortar shop compared to everything else you had experienced in the hobby prior to that?
I mean, my biggest surprise, honestly, has just been the amount of, traffic and the amount of collector interest that we've garnered. I knew that I thought the store would do well. I thought we'd get a lot of people, out visiting the store and stopping by the store, but it's exceeded every expectation. And I think it shows cards are a very tangible thing in that people want to see them in person and touch them and not just participate online, but they want to be there in person. And they're also a very community driven thing. And people like connecting with other hobbyists and having the ability to do trading and, being part of something bigger. Right. So I think that when you combine those factors together, it's led to a really great community that's built around our card shop, which we're really excited about. So I've just been it's just been awesome to see the amount of traffic that we've received and the amount of people that come in the store every day.
before we let you go, we'll just touch again. Dan Bliss's show is at the Cobb Center. You're on Cobb Parkway, so the trade night is a perfect match. How far away is the actual Cards HQ from the trade night? How are people going to get there, and what can they expect this Saturday night?
It's about a half a mile. So the front row card show is at the Cobb Galleria, which is about a half a mile from where Cards HQ is. Great part of town. You got the Battery, the Atlanta Braves Stadium, just around the corner. And there's actually, the Braves are playing at home this weekend. So there's actually Braves games if people want to go to Braves games. You got the card show right there. And then, we're just right around the corner. So people that are actually from the card show, if they wanted to walk, they could walk a little bit of a slightly longer walk, perhaps. If people want to take a quick Uber ride or something of that nature, it's super, super easy to get to, just right around the corner. So we should have a really good crowd. With the card show being so close, we think we'll probably have a capacity crowd. We may end up getting a little bit of a line forming outside the store. Our capacity in the store is about 400 people. So we'll have about 400 people inside for trade night. And then if we hit the 400 capacity, then we'll, have a line form. And when someone leaves, we'll let somebody else in. So I'd say show up a little early if you can for the trade night. The trade night starts 30 minutes after the show ends and goes until, I think we got to go in until midnight. So it's going to be going late into the night and should be a really fun event for everyone going to that front row card show.
Geoff, amazing stuff. We've had a lot of fun watching Dan's growth and of course yours with Sport Card Investor and Cards HQ and everything else you're doing. Really appreciate your time this evening and joining us, and we look forward to talking to you again soon.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Keep up the good work.
Geoff.
See y'all soon.
Appreciate it.
All right. Our thanks to Geoff Wilson, Greeny. Arguably one of the biggest voices, if not the biggest voice in the hobby today.
Yeah, and listen, it makes sense. I mean, Dan's bringing that show to Atlanta, and he's been traveling the country. It's makes sense to partner with one of the largest card shops in the country as well, and bring people to the show, bring people to the trade night after. So kudos to both of them to getting to work together.
Kudos to them, and kudos to our sponsors who it would not be possible to do this or any of the live events without their support. And one of those, of course, if you are anywhere in the Ohio area, make sure you check out Giannino's Pizzeria.
Hey, you! Yeah, you! I'm a year older now, so Mommy can give me Giannino's pizza. Hey, whoever thought of making a great tasting Giannino's pizza with all these fresh ingredients? They gotta be some kind of genius. More, Mommy!
Every Giannino's pizza is made with fresh dough, delicious tomato sauce without additives or preservatives, and fresh provolone cheese shredded daily. For a location near you, go to Gianninos.com.
You want a piece of me?
I do.
Yeah, I do too. Not only pizza, but chicken wings, breadsticks, salad, dressing by the gallon loads. You're gonna love it. If who doesn't love pizza? And if you're anywhere around Ohio, there's over 60 locations here throughout the state and Midwest. So make sure you check them out at Giannino's Pizzeria. So, Greeny, with that, it is time for hobby news with our resident hobby insider, Joe Wismierski of Phoenix Sports Cards.
Joe, good evening. Good afternoon, actually, in Phoenix.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, early evening before dinner. Barely made it. It's been absolutely crazy in the shop. Again, anyone who doesn't think the hobby is alive and kicking is crazy. Like the pulse of the hobby, even at the card shops, it's absolutely wild.
So interesting today. Topps on their website dropped the new basketball chrome, the one that has the college and the pro. And I don't know if you've seen any of the chatter on different Facebook groups or forums. It was sold out before anybody could get anything. Adam and I tried to get some hobby boxes. He went for the jumbo boxes, and it spun and spun. And finally, it put me in a waiting room and said I had 117 minutes to wait. And by the time it came to check out, there was no more. Crazy how these bots can get in and just buy everything. Is there something that Topps should do about that? Do they care?
Yeah, sure. I mean, Steve, I saw Jesse did a video about it. The bot company that I think they got a total of the first run. I think it was like 8,000 orders, and then the second run was 4,000 orders, and the total was like 650 total cases that were taken. Yeah, I mean, it's always going to be an issue. It's funny because Topps did a good job doing like the EQLs, which you just submit your email and then it's kind of a raffle at that point. And I don't know how that would work if bots submit millions of emails, but yeah, I mean, we see it in this hobby. People are nasty. Not everyone is ethical, and people are doing it because there is an opportunity to make a ton of money. So it sucks, but it happens. And something I was speaking on my show yesterday about. There was an issue out in Gilbert, Arizona, standing outside of one of the Pokemon machines where a guy pulled a gun on another guy. Like, I mean, what are we doing?
What are we doing? Did Panini get it right when they did the Dutch auctions? Is it different? Does it make it easier? Is there a way?
You
I
tell
don't
me,
know.
Steve. I mean,
Well, I don't know.
I think it's
I guess-
crazy and absurd, like to start something at like $30,000 and then incrementally have it go down. I don't know if there's a right or wrong way. What's crazy?
Well, maybe you started at $1 and you let people bid it up.
Yeah, potentially. But at the end of the day, the people who have the means are the people who get the items. Like at the end of the day, right? So it can't even be someone like saying, well, it wasn't an option for everyone. Like, I mean, at 300 and some dollars, is that an option for everyone? Probably not. Like, it really isn't. But I don't know. At the end of the day, I always get weirded out by this kind of stuff too, Steve, because we're not even like the shops haven't even been solicited for the product yet. So
Right. So there you go.
Sometimes I feel, right, wrong, or indifferent, that maybe Topps is gauging the interest and gauging the price point to offer the shops, and then they kind of control how many waves they're going to send out of that product. So I don't know. That again, right, wrong, or indifferent.
Well, that's about as difficult as it comes. If you want to do that.
Well, I mean, that's what it is. It's crazy. You know what kind of is flying under the radar that nobody's talking about? It's a product that comes out tomorrow, and it's Topps' take on, like, you remember how Panini, huh?
Isn't it the Cosmic, or is it something else?
Oh, I'm not even talking Cosmic. I'm talking like super under the radar. So you remember the kids crates that Panini did?
I did see this on Topps website. Yeah.
So they have the collector boxes, which you get a blaster pack of Topps Chrome basketball. You get 2 of Topps flagship basketball. You get 2 packs of Series 1 baseball and a pack of Heritage. You get supplies in there, and you get a binder. And dude, it's a cool little product. It's a cool little box, and you get a lot of stuff in there.
Is it a good price point?
Dude, I've seen it all over the internet from $50 to $75, $80.
Yeah, because they don't tell you before it goes on sale to prepare you.
Correct, but you're actually getting a little binder. You're getting pages in there. You're getting stuff to kind of start your collection, but you also get a pack that is unique to this product. And what I believe is the majority of the cards are the same across, but there is one parallel per pack, and it kind of changes per person. So,
are you going to buy one?
I would love to buy everything that we get allocated from Topps, because I think there's that much upside, to be honest, Steve. What I can tell you, what I saw online is there's Roman Anthony rookie cards in there, Jack Caglione, you have an Ohtani, Cooper Flag, Ace Bailey, Wemby. What else? I think a Francisco Lindor in there. There's also the rookie for the New Jersey Nets, not Danny Wolf, but the other guy. Dude, and these are like they look kind of like rainbow foil cards.
Huh.
I don't know. I mean, they're rookies. It's cool. It's pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
But I think it's meant. I think it's originally meant for like young collectors, that kind of stuff to get in. But
Well,
I think
you're right.
they made
It's just like the Kid Crate, sure.
but they made them real
fine.
juicy, Steve. They made them real juicy because we field calls every day with people asking for Topps Chrome basketball. And now we're going to have a product. Yes, it only has one pack, but we'll be able to have that kind of conversation that, you can come down and get this thing. It has one pack of Chrome, but there's 2 packs of flagship in there too.
Good.
Yeah, who cares about Cosmic Chrome baseball, Steve? Who cares
Basketball.
about
Cosmic
basketball? Who
Chrome
cares about
basketball?
that too?
I don't care.
Yeah, who cares? $1,000. Who cares? We're talking about collector's crates, right? For probably $70, what I would guess. Not $1,000 boxes, Steve. Come on, don't be silly.
I'm telling you, that's where it's at, though. $1,000 boxes. That it's just for breakers, right? I mean, sure. There's a few people that open them up. I get it. But like the majority of people are not, right?
Steve, I think you're getting really excited for the opportunity to possibly pull like a Cooper Flag Uranus or a Pluto, maybe even a Concaniple Saturn or Jupiter, because that's what people are chasing. It's that planetary pursuit in the product, and that's what everyone wants. I mean, this is a product, again, where I don't believe an auto is guaranteed. So
no, you're getting the planets. The planets are, maybe you get a meteor, like one landed in Cleveland last week.
Yes, absolutely.
Joe, I could have sworn for a second you said a Concaniple Saturn or Jupiter, and I don't know that sentence has ever been uttered in history.
Oh, I thought you were referring to the Cooper Flag Uranus.
Yeah, that too. I don't know if that's been ever uttered. A flag in your. Never mind. Hey, Joe, we had a question earlier in honor of Geoff Wilson's appearance today. What has been your best return on a sports card investment? And it doesn't have to be financial. We said it could be experiential, it could be the joy it brings you. But what comes to mind when you think about a really good investment in your hobby career?
Right after Shohei Ohtani had his first Tommy John, I went online and I bought a BGS 9 10 auto rated rookie autograph, and I think I got it for like $135. It's funny, we kind of go back on eBay and look at this all the time, and then I held it for maybe 9 months, and I was ecstatic because I sold it for $750. And then we went and looked at it like 3 months ago, and the last one sold for like $5,500. So I was able to make money and pass that joy on to someone else who then maybe has the potential to give that joy to another person. But that's my story. Jeremy, I was a little disappointed I didn't get the same red carpet that you guys gave Geoff. I know I don't own my own shop in Atlanta, but
but you do own your own show, and tell us when we can see it.
That is a pro transition. Thank you so much, Steve. It's Mondays, 1 p.m. Eastern time. It's a real hot time slot. I mean, scorching. We actually had our longest show this last week, and it was great. We had 50 minutes. It's Sports Cards Confessions, and we just talk about a little bit of everything. We talk about, confessions on deals, what's going on in the hobby. This past week, we talked about whatnot. 1 week later, has anything really changed? I know everyone wants to put the guardrails up about gambling and whatnot, but we need to have a little bit of self-control. And my biggest confession that I actually shared, and I showed them a scroll this past week, was in 2019, I pulled a Wander Franco first Bowman auto, and I reached out to someone and I said, hey, someone offered me this trade. Should I? And the person was like, well, it's a non-licensed product, and Wander Franco is supposed to be a generational talent, and the card that was proposed to me was a BGS 9.5 10 auto rated rookie blue Aaron Judge auto that I went ahead and passed on and kept the Wander Franco. So
Hey,
That's
Joe,
my confession.
you're like family to us now, and I don't reintroduce my wife to my kids every time she comes in the room. So we
You might
love
want
you.
to
We
try it though,
appreciate you
Jeremy.
joining us.
You might
What's
want to
that?
try it. You might want to try reintroducing her, and like letting them know that the queen of the household has arrived. Like,
I like that idea. Yeah, we'll get out the pomp and circumstance and roll out the music every time. So
absolutely.
Greeny has his own song. I don't know if you knew that. It goes a little bit like this.
After that.
Song and run that for you. Joe,
we
thanks
do
for joining us
appreciate it.
as you do every week. And we'll see you on Sports Card.
Thanks, guys.
We'll catch you at 59th and Thunderbird in Glendale, Arizona.
Yeah, hey, we're already experiencing June weather right now. So we've been 100 all weekend. It's been fantastic. So terrible heat.
Yeah, you have air conditioning. So,
Yeah.
well, maybe.
Thanks, guys.
I will see you,
Thanks,
Joe.
Joe. We'll see you. We had June weather for about 7 minutes here last week. So, Greeny, are you looking to turn your card collection into cash as you have for the last 20 years?
Yeah. And now I do a lot of it with sport card auctions with Dave Cook and friends there, sportcardauctions.com. Terrific, easy to do. I send them a stack of cards. They take the pictures, they get them listed. I can follow along on their website. I can follow them along on eBay, either one. And a week after they're listed and get paid for, the money gets direct deposited right into my checking account. And nobody's the wiser.
They make it simple. They've got all you got to do is ship your cards to them. They'll take care of everything else: the photography, the listing, the shipping. They've got over 15 years of experience and a 99% customer satisfaction rating. So give your cards the spotlight they deserve. Send them to Sport Card Auctions. We appreciate Dave and his team and their continued support. So with that, Greeny, we will welcome in our next guest for the evening, who is one of the most energetic and fast-rising creators in the hobby. Coach Co is the personality behind Coach Co Collectibles, a multi-platform channel with tens of thousands of followers across YouTube and TikTok, where he documents shop tours, big hobby stories, grading experience, and real collector experiences from shows around the country. He also co-hosts the Cardboard Coach podcast, where he brings his background in fitness and collecting together to help hobbyists think smarter about the game. Let's go ahead and welcome in Brandon, aka Coach Co.
How's it going? I don't know.
Brandon.
I got quite the introduction, so I don't know what the gentleman before me is talking about.
Yeah, don't worry about Joe.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll see him again next week. But
How you guys doing?
yeah, excellent.
He'll be back.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How you guys doing?
We're doing great. We appreciate you taking the time. I'm glad I got to walk around a little bit in Chicago and say hello. But we wanted to bring you on, talk a little bit about your journey, what you see going around the hobby, and but before we even get into that, kind of take you back to when you first started and fell in love with cards and memorabilia and sports, non-sports. So take us back to the beginning and what started this all for Brendan and Coach K.
Yeah, it's a good question. It starts, man, as early as I can remember. It was a combination of many things. On the sports side, it was soccer stickers. So my parents are Portuguese, my grandparents are Portuguese. Like I come from a long line of Portuguese people, and I grew up with a lot of Portuguese and Italian people in my neighborhood in Toronto. And so we would frequently, like every Euro and every World Cup, we would go to the local corner store. We'd get our what am I looking for? Like the booklet, and we would be buying packs. And the goal was to complete the set. So my sports, I can't even call it a sports card journey, but my journey into collecting little pieces of men with sports related was definitely stickers and predominantly surrounding soccer. From the TCG perspective, I grew up in the early 90s. And so early 90s was like peak Pokemon, Digimon, Dragon Ball Z. And let me tell you, if you could collect it, I definitely owned it. I'm very fortunate that my parents, every Christmas or birthday or really whatever occasion they could come up with, it was always some type of card or action figure. I love Transformers as well. So I've collected a little bit of everything for a lot of a lot of time.
Your videos spotlight real collectors and real conversations. You've gone around the country. You go to different shows. What is the biggest theme you're hearing from people right now as you collect these stories about the hobby?
Yeah, it's funny. The reason why I started doing that, it was probably like last year or so. Before that, it was mainly just my account of kind of like what was happening from like the online space and occasionally in person. But seeing a lot of what makes it through the feed, and what I mean by that is the negative stuff's always going to kind of like 99% of the time is going to come up more than the positive stuff. And I just found like my feed was riddled with this stuff, and almost to the point where it was I almost didn't want to like interact certain days with the hobby, because I was like, man, another negative thing, another, like this thing needs to be fixed, or and it was just like a pretty grim kind of like outlook on the space. And I was like, well, that every time I've ever felt like that, I found that it was super grounding to go out to shows and card shops and just like have that dialogue with everyday people. Not to say that you can't have that dialogue online, but like I said, it does become like more and more difficult given there's like all this other stuff happening behind the scenes. And at the root of all of this is the stories, is the whys. Why did you start collecting? Why do you collect this player? Why do you collect this set? And it's not from I'm not trying to berate people. In fact, I draw immense inspiration from hearing people's stories. So that's kind of like where it came from. And I mean, from there, I've heard every story under the sun at this point, man. It's been pretty wild. Like I've heard people connecting with their late parents over their collections and just kind of like keeping that going after they've passed. I've heard, I've connected with like athletes over their collecting, and, they've signed cards that are kind of like out in the ecosystem and they like want them back. And so they're on this like grand search to kind of acquire them. And it just, it really humanizes everybody in the space. And it just reminds you that if it wasn't for these stories, these would just be pieces of paper and fabric. And it's been a pretty integral kind of, not pivot, but addition to the regular scheduled programming of like, here's what's going on in this space.
Sure.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of your videos. That's how I found you and actually reached out and wanted you to be on the show. And I didn't realize until doing a little bit of research, you do the personal training and coaching, and kind of your speaking engagements are kind of the same. Are there parallels to those, your personal training, coaching, and then coaching people on their collections maybe, or the whys of collecting?
It's funny. Yeah, I think definitely coming from a fitness background allowed me to, there are a lot of people that do fitness and don't know the why. I mean, there might be like a superficial why, but they don't really get like deep into the why. And I do feel like coming into this space as an adult, because I did put it down during my late adolescence, I moved out very young and I got a job, and then that became like fight or flight. So I was fortunate enough to pick it back up. And I find that I'm happy that I did, because around the time that I came back in, I feel like everybody was buying the same stuff. And even now, I mean, a good chunk of everyone's telling you to buy Con Knipple and Cooper Flag and the most recent Topps products, and Connor Griffin's a guaranteed Hall of Famer at this point. And it just allowed me to kind of like drown out some of that noise. I find myself, in times where it's incredibly loud in the space again, and people are, oh, there's all-time highs everywhere, and I feel like if you buy 90s, you're good. If you buy modern, you're good. I have still managed to find cards that I never knew existed, are relatively inexpensive, and I think are great buys, but also just like things that really resonate with me. So I think it's definitely allowed me to not necessarily follow the same path as everybody else in my collecting journey.
Coach, card shops today are evolving and continuing to evolve. They are not the card shops of our parents or even us growing up.
Yeah.
We had Geoff on earlier, Geoff Wilson of Cards HQ. They have a whole production studio in there. They've got a breaking pavilion. There's card shops with bars in them now and food service. You've traveled the country and been to a number of different card shops. What are you seeing out there? Some of the unique card shops that may not be on people's radar that are really cool finds. Who's doing some cool stuff out there and in what city?
Yeah, I mean, I have like favorite card shops in every city almost. I want to make sure that I don't leave anyone out, but if we're talking about ones that really stand off the page as like something I'd never seen before, Trace and Chase in New Jersey was pretty ridiculous in like a good way. Obviously, there was a half court basketball, like there was essentially like half a basketball court there. It was pretty crazy. The memorabilia selection was ridiculous, very clean space. It was pretty surreal. I'll say Collectors Club in Miami. They were just fortunate enough to have Tom Brady at their rip night. It is a kind of like bar slash sports card space slash TCG. They do a little bit of everything. They also have like their own grading facilities in there too, which I also toured. I thought it was really cool. They're kind of like bringing AI to the space. Not saying that it's going to be here nor there, but I do think that competition is 100% necessary, and it'll push everybody in this industry. And so they're, not only challenging from the card shop perspective as to like what the conventional card shop would look like, but also from the grading perspective, which I love. There are other shops that, just because they're not as like visually appealing. I mean, there's Relics in Toronto. That's probably my home away from home. Awesome owners there. They really have, they truly make it feel like home. I mean, I've seen them have like 8 or 9 year olds come in there on lunch every single day. And I mean, not even to buy anything really, just like come in and talk sports. And personally, I love that there's like a safe space for kids, and that there's no real pressure to buy, just like a place for a kid to have like a positive role model, so that is definitely a feature in card shops that I know a lot that do, and that one specifically speaks out to me. But yeah, if I had to talk about like the two that kind of jumped off the page visually, it would probably be Collectors Club in Miami and Trace and Chase in New Jersey.
So I know you do travel around. Like I said, I saw you in Chicago. I've seen your videos at other shows, but you have a pretty big show pretty much in your hometown, right? The Toronto Expo that Steve puts on in their group. We're going to be real fortunate to work with Steve in their group here in April 10th through 12th, where they run the Strongsville Sports Collectors Convention, which is the longest running vintage show in the world, since you're in a different country. I can't say in the country, in the world. But we have our Great Lakes Collectors Convention, and we've partnered together to co-locate two shows into one building. For those of us that have never been up to the Toronto Expo and how these guys run shows, what can people expect out of them?
Every time someone from the States goes up there, I don't think they are prepared for the amount of collectors that are at the Toronto Sports Card Expo. I think because the roots of the show are hockey, and I would say that hockey collectors, for the most part, are pretty diehard. You will probably, there are definitely booths you can go to for comps, but I guarantee there's a lot of cards that move for above comps because they're going to the right homes. Comps are used at that show for the most part as like a measuring stick. They're not this kind of be all end all that you see a lot at a lot of shows in the States. So I think that'll be a bit of an adjustment if you are heading over there. That being said, there's amazing inventory from all different sections. I mean, there's like amazing TCG inventory. There's amazing basketball inventory. I know that like there was like 2 or 3 illustrators in Toronto the last time I was there, which is crazy. I mean, they were talking like million plus. Like you probably wouldn't have expected it. I saw a LeBron exquisite RPA. You know, I saw a LeBron PSA 10 gold Topps Chrome rookie. So there are some definite heavy hitters in Toronto and in Canada. But I would say that the amount of collectors stands out 100%. That and the hospitality. Again, like there are people that go there and they're not like, hey, like I know Coach Go or anything. They're literally just going there as a show goer, and they kind of reach out to me afterwards and they're like, man, I went to that show and everyone seems so nice and willing to negotiate or wanting to talk a little bit about my PC or what I collect or whatever the case may be. So, you know, maybe that's where I get some of my roots from, you know, where I'm asking people the whys and just trying to figure out a little bit more about their collecting journey.
Coach, we've got about a minute here up against it. What are you looking forward to this year? What shows are you going to? What cities? What stands out that you're really excited about in the hobby this year?
Yeah, super excited about the Next Up card show. It's going to be down the street from the NFL draft. So first time, well, I went to Pittsburgh for the first time a few weeks ago, but I'm excited to be there for like an actual show. Very excited to blend show, cards, friends, and the NFL draft. The Fanatics Fest, although the the combinations are crazy, I think that's going to be insane too. Having a World Cup match down the street, so many interesting celebrities and just people there to begin with. So throw that plus World Cup hype. I think that's going to be insane. The National, I mean, listen, all-time highs set every single day for cards from all different categories. I think it's going to be a very, very fun National this year. There's going to be a big buzz, I think. There's going to be a lot of people showcasing things that we might not have seen before, which, you know, happens, but I think it's going to happen a little bit more than we've ever seen before. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're starting to see the graded magazine market go absolutely bonkers. Ticket subs I've seen absolutely smashing. So there's going to be a lot of segments of the hobby present, I think, more than ever at this year's National, and I'm super excited for it.
As are we, and we can't wait to be at these events too. We'll see you at the Next Up card show and at the National. Before we let you go, where can people find you online?
Yeah, I'm Coach Co Collectibles on every single platform. I would say like I post every day except for on X. So if you want to see what I'm up to, every platform except for X. If you reach out to me on X, it might take a few days.
Fair enough.
Appreciate you guys having me.
Very good. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
We'll catch you soon. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
All right, Greeny. Our thanks to Coach Co Collectibles. Make sure you check them out. Our thanks to Geoff Wilson, sports card investor, Cards HQ. Very special 2 guests tonight. We really appreciate that. And a really, really special guest near and dear to our heart, week over week, our resident hobby insider, Joe Wismierski of Phoenix Sports Cards. Our thanks to Haley on the board and for all the good work she does, the great work she does behind the scenes for Greeny Sports Cards and Greeny Sports Cards Live. And thanks to all you for watching and checking in. Make sure you like us, like all the socials, the pages. We go live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. and then try and take the best of the best and put those reels out throughout the week, especially when we get interesting content like tonight. Greeny, most of all, thank you for allowing us to do this week over week, and may the cards forever be in your favor.
Have a good night, everybody.